probably EDC this guy for, I kid you not, about 2 weeks, probably 2 weeks straight before I switch into anything else. And I mean, it got the job done. It really got the job done. This is a nice little EDC lanyard tube right there on both knives. With this one, only about that much of the knife is going to be showing out of your pocket, right? Big difference right there. Thickest part, we have 0.14 inches, just like the PM2. Hello and what is going on, guys? Welcome back to Miguel EDC. Hope you guys are having a fantabulous day. Today we're going to be doing a review on the Spyderco Para 3. Yeah, this little guy right here, of course. You saw it coming in the channel. Did an unboxing on this guy a while back. So yeah, if you prioritize your lanyard, and I've had the chance, the opportunity to EDC this guy like crazy over the last couple of months, and finally we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna be doing a very comprehensive review on this guy. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Here we go. Let's get some basic measurements on this guy right off the bat. Let's see, we got the overall length coming in at 7 1/4 right there, 7 1/4 total length. As far as the blade, we have a 3 1/8 total blade, but the actual cutting edge is going to be 2 3/4, and the handle length is going to be around 4 1/4, 4 1/4 there for the handle length. So what do we got going on for this guy? Of course, we have the satin finish flat grind. We're going to talk more about that later on. The steel is a CPM S30V VN going on. We got the camo G10 scales on this guy, and this guy has the, of course, the infamous Spidey hole right here, so it allows you to reverse flick it all day, every day, over and over and over again. It's probably the most satisfying way to deploy this guy. Of course, you could thumb deploy as well, right? Not as satisfying in my opinion, but you can, right? That's another deployment option. And this guy is rocking the compression lock, just like the PM2 that we reviewed on the channel 2 days ago, right? This guy is going to be rocking the compression lock, so you could also sort of deploy, right? Open and close like that as well. All right, so you got at least 3 different ways to open and close this guy, right? With a compression lock, with your thumb, with your reverse flick, right? Let's get a quick measurement on the blade here, right? On the thickest part, we have 0.14 inches, just like the PM2. And again, check out that review if you want to see everything about the PM2. There's going to be a lot of similarities, by the way. And right here in the very tip, I wouldn't be surprised if it drops down to 0.01. There it is, right? That tip is 0.01. All right, as far as the ergos on this guy, so right, check this out, right? Ergos are super good. Just like the PM2, right? You can expect something very similar, right? Of course, it's a smaller handle, but check it out. I have medium hands. You know, they're not the large hands by any means, but you have this much of the handle still left right here, which is good. Still feels nice and comfortable on the hand. You have this portion right here, this finger choil here allows you to forward choke here if you want to, the same as the PM2. So I'm glad that that was not compromised in shrinking the design. And you have the finger, right? The thumb jimping right here, right? That's going to be really good for really making those precise cuts, right? That's very nice as part of the blade, and also part of it is on the liners as well. So it really gives you good grip all the way around right there. So a quick weight check on this guy. For comparison purposes, the PM2 comes in at 3.8, right? 3.8 ounces. Also, to give you a ballpark, here's the Spyderco Smock here. Right, that comes in at 3.7 ounces, and so the Para 3, and this is not the lightest version, by the way. That, you know, for all these Spyderco models, they make a lightweight version which has FRN scales, but this one again G10, just like the PM2, and it comes in at 3.3 ounces. Since we're here, let's do a quick hardware check on this guy. By the way, guys, my tools are linked down below in the description. These are the tools that I use, so they're very recommendable. Check out those affiliate links, right, at no extra cost to you. They're part of the Spyderco tool set. They got every tool bit that you may need, along with some screwdrivers and things like that. So speaking of this guy, I'm gonna take a wild guess and say if it's anything like the Para military tube, probably going to be T6 on the clip. All right, that's an easy one. All right, so let's take care of that. And by the way, this is an aftermarket clip. I'll talk about that in a second. So yes, T6 in the clip. That's pretty common. There's 3 different screws right there, by the way. A lot of other guys, other companies only do 2 screws. That one has 3. It has to be T8. I'm gonna say, yeah, T8 on the handle right there, right, on both ends. Something that they did with this guy, which they, you know, it's different from the Para military too, is the fact that they decided to go with a pin right here for some reason instead of an actual screw. So for a lot of people, that might be somewhat of a disappointment. I'm kind of fine with it, right? It gets the job done, but again, it is that is one of the differences also from the PM2 to the Para 3. All right, and last but not least, that pivot, right? That's going to be a chunker right there. That's going to be a T10, right? I'm glad they made it a big one right there. So T10 on both ends. So T10 on the pivot, right? You have T8 on the handle. Spyderco, and then the pocket clips are going to be T6. One other similarity, which I think is crazy, is the fact that they sort of recycle the same lanyard tube right there on both knives. So you don't mind it as much on the Para 2 because it's kind of over to the side, whereas on the Para 3, it sort of takes over the entire back of the handle right there. So much so that the actual holes, right, get pushed down. So what that translates into is this, right? If I turn them around, right, check this out. On the PM2, there's no issues, right? The pocket clip has plenty of room to be over to the side. You can still have your lanyard hole and blah, 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 all that good stuff, lanyard tube. But over on the Para 3, the way that the screws are set up, you put an aftermarket clip like this one, let's say, because you want your knife to obviously be more deep pocket carry. The default clip, by the way, this one, it's a crazy one. I'll show you in a second. Yeah, there's no deep pocket carry with that going on whatsoever. But yeah, the point I'm trying to make is that this now kind of gets in the way of the lanyard tube right there, which wasn't, in my opinion, a very well thought out design, just because they wanted to probably recycle the same lanyard tube. But again, that's just my 2 cents. A lot of people complain about that as well. But if you don't mind that, I mean, it's not a big deal. It doesn't necessarily have to be an issue for you. And yes, I know a lot of people really love the original pocket clip that comes with the knife. In my opinion, I definitely had to make a change, right? So it looks something like this, right? When the pocket clip is in, right, the OG one, sort of this much of your knife is sticking out. This is a deep pocket carry clip. I'll put a link on this one in the description as well, guys. It makes a huge difference. So if you want to check out those links, they'll be in the description. With this one, only about that much of the knife is going to be showing out of your pocket, right? Big difference right there, right? Big difference. Let's talk about this guy, right? What has the experience been with this guy over the last couple of months? I got to tell you, this is just like the PM2. There's another one of those knives that I threw in my pocket and sort of forgot about every other knife that I had. Sort of had to push myself to get into a rotation to switch over to a different knife because, you know, once I had this guy in my pocket, there was no way that I was switching into anything else for a long time. And that's what I did. I probably EDC'd this guy for, I kid you not, about 2 weeks, probably 2 weeks straight before I switch into anything else. And I mean, it got the job done. It really got the job done. This is a nice little EDC. It's also smaller too, which is nice. The PM2 is not that much bigger, but I guess you could argue that it's less intimidating for non-knife people. It really depends how much knife education you do to your friends and, you know, your social circle and things like that. But, you know, I think by now most of my friends know that I make knife content on YouTube, so they're fine with the idea that I'll be EDCing a knife at all times. As far as the spacers go, right, the spacers are nice and thick, similar to the PM2, with the exception of this one being a pin, like I mentioned earlier. But other than that, the dimensions are pretty much the same as the PM2. This guy, again, is rocking the compression lock. The way it works is it's sort of like a liner lock, but in the back of the knife, so that way your fingers are all safely out of the way, out of harm's way. And when you move this piece of the liner over to the left, the blade drops, right, just like that. So it allows you to open and close, right, no issues. Of course, you got other deployment options with your thumb. You could do the slow opening if you want to, slow and classy. Or you could do the reverse flick, which is, I believe, probably everybody's favorite, right? Spyderco sort of revolutionized the reverse flick right there, as far as I'm concerned. Maybe they didn't. If not, let me know in the comments, right? You know, let's talk in the comments for sure. Let's hang out down there. Let me know your thoughts, your opinions on this guy. But that's been it, guys. Hopefully I've been able to provide you with some valuable feedback. Hopefully I've been able to sort of educate you a little bit, or share some very important pieces of feedback that will allow you to either make your purchasing decision or sort of further approve your recent purchase. If you recently got one of these, right, either PM2 or Para 3, right, you know you got yourself there a rock solid EDC knife for a long time to come. That being said, guys, if you made it this far, don't forget to like and subscribe. You guys are the real MVPs. By the way, chances are by the time you're watching this video, the review for the Spyderco Smock, this savage right here, is probably live in the channel. I'll put a card right here for your convenience if you want to check this guy out. This is another solid EDC with a flipper, right? So probably what the PM2 and Para 3 are missing is this flipper right here. So I'll talk more about that during that review, but it's been an awesome experience to EDC. Thank you guys for making it this far. I love you all. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care. Peace.